Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start with giving you elementary information about Indonesia. Though most of you have visited Indonesia, probably. Indonesia is an archipelago, consists of 17,000 islands. And this is the number 4 most populous country in the world after China, India, the United States, then Indonesia. We have so far, according to the latest census in the year 2010, about 236 million of the total population. In the year 2016, next year is predicted to have about 255 million of the total population. Maybe because many Indonesian family have a big family, not only 1 or 2 children, but more. And this country, Indonesia, is pluralistic country in terms of religions. All major religions are existing in Indonesia. They have their own religious councils. Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and also Confucianism is considered as religion in Indonesia. And also Indonesia consists of so many ethnic groups, more than 300, even to 500 ethnic groups. They have their own languages, which is not a dialect, but different ethnic group languages. Islam entered Indonesia, the archipelago, centuries ago. In many ways, there are many theories, direct from Mecca, Saudi Arabia, or from Gujarat, India, and also from China. But the most important things to know that the mode of Islam coming to the archipelago in that century is peaceful mean, no war, no sword, no conflict. Consider the large majority, about 88.2% of the total population are Muslims, meaning about 207 million Muslims, and make Indonesia as the most populous Muslim country. And in Indonesia, this kind of Islam, modern and moderate Islam, has been developing through organization. There are various organizations, more than 70 nationwide Islamic organizations. I know it very well because I used to invite all leaders of this organization, Islamic organization, nationwide, meaning the organization that has branches in at least 2/3 of all provinces. I'd like to say to you one example is my own organization. So sorry I couldn't talk about the other 70 or 69 organization. Muhammadiyah, from the name of the Prophet Muhammad, created or founded 1912. Now become one of the oldest, 1912. We celebrate the next November, 103-year-old of the organization. We stick to the ideology, the objective to establish true Muslim society. Ummah, religious community. Islamia, Islamic community. That's the very ideal that was created by Prophet Muhammad. But then there are two different interpretation to the term Ummah Islamiyah, Islamic community to that time. The first interpretation, that community is a political religious community. And Prophet Muhammad was head of state. And the Ummah Islamiyah as a state, and that's the Islamic state. But for others, the Muslim intellectuals and critics, including the Muhammadiyah, perceive is not an Islamic state. The Ummah Islamiyah is only a social religious community. That's a society. So nothing to do with a state, a concept of state. And if we go further in the Holy Scriptures of Islam, Al-Quran, and the Prophet Muhammad's sayings, there was no mention at all. Once again, there is no mention at all the command to establish an Islamic, to establish a state, or even an Islamic state. And that's why many Muhammadiyah leaders involved in the creation of the state, but still our main objective to establish true Islam. By saying true Islam, meaning we can live together with others, yeah, in the country, in a country. So this is a cultural movement, meaning to empower the society, and we pledge to modern and moderate Islam, meaning that Islam is indeed for human being, because we believe religion like Islam is from God, but for human beings and humanity. And that's why no obstacle at all for us to work together with other religious communities, such as during the last 3 years, our hospital in Yogyakarta, PKU, and the Catholic Hospital, Pantirapi, and Bethesda Hospital, a Protestant hospital, have been working together to take care of the mother and children in accordance to the MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, for example, because we share the same humanity, though we are different in theology, especially in our belief and faith. I would like to continue. This is a kind of Islam shared by many Islamic organizations in our country, Indonesia. But during the last decade or more, yeah, we are facing the challenge and threat of Islamic radicalisms, Islamic fundamentalisms, who engage in violent extremisms with the name of religion. Of course, our very stand that this kind of understanding of Islam is against Islam itself. Their belief, their ideas, their deeds are in contradiction to the very teaching of Islam, which emphasizes very much peace and mercy, as I said earlier. But this group, yeah, have received great expose in the media. And indeed, Indonesia, in the aftermath of the September 11th in the United States, has become victims of terror action in Bali, Bali bombing twice in front of Australian embassy, in front of a Marriott Hotel in Jakarta, and many other places. But this radical group, a very minor minority, yeah, we have 210 to 107 million Muslims, and this group belongs to a very minor minority, but they are vocal, sometimes because of the media objective. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our common enemy. Not only the threat to all human beings, to the human civilization, but more specifically to us as Muslims, because they use the name of Islam. So that I need to say here that we need a collaboration to face these challenges, but of course we need to understand the root cause. In my opinion, the radical groups, Islamic radicalisms or religious radicalisms, because it's not peculiar to Islam only, but also to other religious communities. Number one, there is a religious factor. We cannot ignore religious factor. That's the misunderstanding of religion, the misunderstanding of Islam, and then religion or Islam is used, misused, even abused for political or certain purposes. Why there is misunderstanding? If I may answer, because of the Holy Scripture. I think many Holy Scriptures, including the Holy Quran for the Muslims, consists of verses. There are many verses. Many verses call to peace, preach peace, because Islam is a religion of peace. But there are some verses, not many really, seemingly, I would like to say, seemingly call to war. Understanding these verses, which seemingly call to war, should be in context. We should know the background during the Muhammad's time. And this is the mistake of many of the Muslims, ignoring the background, ignoring the political, social situation at that time, so that they pick up the verses and use it. And this is what I call it misuse and abuse of religion. This is the religious motive. Because for them, this is true Islam. For us, it's not true Islam. The second motive, I think we cannot ignore as well. There are non-religious factors, social, economic, even political injustice. So this appeal or ideological appeal of this group sometimes attract many young people in Indonesia, elsewhere, for the ISIS, not only from the Muslim country, and also many other countries. I think including 80 countries, more than 80 countries joining this group. Why? Number one, because of religious attraction, in the sense of, for many Muslims and others, they want the alternative system to the current system, because the current system, the form of government in the Muslim countries, either be republic or monarchy, kingdom, emirate, and others, according to them, failed to bring prosperity, failed to bring real peace to the human being. So that we need new system, no alternative. And Islamic State, they perceive it as the alternative. Though, as I mentioned, no mention in the Holy Quran about as the basis of the creation of this state. And second motive, especially those from Indonesia who are joining ISIS, as revealed by some survey, some of them, or many of them, have joined ISIS because of the economic motive, because of the temptation, the promise to be given salary of $250 per month. So it's much for the poor people, the poor family, and that's why many people brought their family to join the ISIS, not as a fighters in the avant-garde, but as servant in the public services, because of the salary $250 US is above the minimum wage in Indonesia, which only $150 maybe. So we work together with the government, and maybe so far, if only 300, 500, it's small, it's many, but compared to the number of Muslims in Indonesia, maybe to some extent, we have succeeded in safeguarding the great majority of being attracted to that one. At the end, I would like to share another opinion to ladies and gentlemen about the necessity of cooperation between Indonesia, Japan, and other countries with regard to the emergence of East Asia, that there has been shift, changing, and the world economic gravity center from the Atlantic to the Pacific. In our region, East Asia, or the Asia Pacific, or East Asia, has become and will become the area of growth in the 21st century, this 21st century. And I think the world has been witnessing the emergence of East Asia, in particular the rise of China. our main view from Indonesia that this growth, the emergence of East Asia with the rise of China, should be peaceful one, not to create a hegemonic power in our region, and to bring all parties in the region into the East Asian regionalism worldview. This is our opinion from Indonesia. And that's why I encourage Japan, maybe Korea, Indonesia. Yeah. Japan has, economy, science and technology. Maybe Indonesia has energy. So these kind of countries, the two countries in the region, should strengthen the relation, the cooperation. Yeah. In many fields, bilateral cooperation in the fields of economy, trade and business, investment, but as well as education, science, technology, and even culture.